Okay, what we're looking at is special effects. We've broken into two parts. I'm doing the part on what you can do in your camera, and Bobby is doing the part on what you can do in Photoshop. Um, I'm sorry, I started the middle. We'll start at the beginning now. Anyway, same thing with special effects. We're going to have a show and tell on March 25th, exactly a month from today. So you can get out, you can try some of these things you're going to be showing today. I differentiate it with special effects. There's a lot of different terminology we'll get into in a minute, but special effects, at least from what I'm going to talk about tonight, is not the same as shooting modes. I think all of our cameras have shooting modes, such as portrait, night, black and white, etc. And these modes are basically geared towards giving you a good range of exposure in different situations like portrait and nights. But this is a little bit different. So as I said, it's going to be two parts of it, the in-camera and the Photoshop. Special effects, at least in my mind, is exemplified by this picture, which is a picture Mark had. I think, Mark, you won an award for this picture several months ago. I'm not sure if you did it in camera or if you did it in Photoshop, but it doesn't really matter because it's definitely a special effect.
This was done in camera.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's obviously not a straight picture. It's a different picture with some special effects on it. And I'm going to keep using the word special effects because the three main systems we're going to talk about. In Canon, they're called creative filters. Nikon, they're special effect modes. And Sony, they're called picture effects. I found that generally you have to use JPEG and not RAW in these things. It might vary by different cameras. And some of the in-camera effects, now these are a cross section from all three of these brands. Your camera may have some, may not have some, but Toy Camera, which I guess is probably pretty close to what Mark used, selective color. I'm going to have illustrations a little bit later on a few of these things. Photo illustration, which maybe that's what Mark had. Some of the cameras have a fisheye. My camera did not have that. Water painting, which gives you a nice soft water painting type effect. Posterization, which I tried it and I read about it and I still don't understand it. The retro, which looks like old cameras. Pop, which is the one that really brings the color out on something or another. And high contrast, mono, soft high key, and there's probably others in your camera. Yeah. So, I want to show you a couple things that I did. I have to get my little cheat sheet here too. Tell you what these things are. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
This was from a Bush. It was like the day after we had that little workshop on macro photography, that lecture. I went out and I just clipped the berries off a bush right by our front door and brought it in, put it on the green background. The one on the left is just the straight shot without any special effects. I normally have my camera set on a vivid mode, so it makes it a little stronger, but that's the straight shot. You look at the next one on the right there, and that's called posterization. And again, as I said, I read about it and I looked at it and I don't quite understand, but it's rather a stark view. The same Now, this was a camera on a tripod, taken consecutively. So, no difference in lighting. Um, the one on the left here is the retro effect. And the one on the right is partial color green. I've used this before and with sort of varied success, but this essentially gives you a black and white image, only emphasizing the green. Oh, wait a minute, there's somebody else here to come in.
It's just me.
Oh, okay. So this one on the right is essentially black and white because you can see the red berries that become black, dark, but the green is emphasized. You go back to the original picture, it was a pretty strong green background. And again, it picked up the emphasis green. Now on my camera, you can do that partial color. You can do it in green, yellow, red, blue. So you can take, a long time ago, I went down to Mom's Diner, if anybody remembers where that is, on Route 33. It has colorful murals, and I did some shots there with different colors. And it does emphasize that one particular color. I'm going to switch models now on a different day. The one on the left is pop color. Actually, both of these are with pop color. It's a different model. But it definitely, you see the emphasis of the color. And the next slide, I probably should have done this the other way around, but the next slide, you'll see what here, I'll just show it. This is more or less what it was. Here, the one on the left is toy camera, and the one on the right is partial color red. Now, both of those are pretty much what it was, but you go back here and then this pop color really gives you a strange effect. Yeah. I have to admit that when I said I would do this part of the thing, I thought, hey, this will be pretty neat. We'll learn some new things. We'll do something different. But all in all, I really didn't. I learned how to do these things and I saw the differences. I really didn't see anything that struck me as being worthwhile doing, except for a novelty thing. But again, going back to things that are similar to the special effects of these creative styles on my camera, landscape, sunset, and night, they're worth trying also. The other thing that's similar to a special effect is this high dynamic range. And I think that's definitely worth trying. Again, using the high dynamic range, it gives you a blend, particularly when you have a scene where there's a lot of dark things and light things. And I know Mario has used this. I remember particularly he had, many, many years ago, inside a workshop, Mario had an interesting picture, which I think he did using the high dynamic range. I work with, I have the same camera that Keith has, the Sony A7R. I have a guidebook written by David Bush, digital photography guide, and I didn't bring it into this room. But it's a book. It's an inch thick, and he goes through every single setting on the camera, and he tells you he tells you more what they are and why you use them rather than how to use them. But it does tell you how to use them also. I find that I actually have read through the book and I referred back for this workshop and some of the things. He is also not terribly impressed with these special effects, but they're worth trying. Maybe you get something that you like. He writes these books for many, many cameras. Whatever you use, he probably has a guide. You can buy them at Amazon, they're $25 to $30. You know, again, as a plug, if you do go to Amazon, make sure you go through the Photo Club website so we get our little kickback. Now, what I'm going to say is, with the special effects, explore your camera. There's just zillions of things there. I know my camera has a menu system, which I think has 6 different categories of menu settings. Under each one of them, it's between maybe 5 and 25 different things, and each one of those different things has several things. So literally, with my camera, you could probably do 2,000 different mixed settings. So try those settings, try them in different situations. I was going to go outside to take the pictures I took. I went out one day, and it was one of the 3 bright sunny days we've had in the last 6 months. And it was so bright, it was so bright with the snow on the ground that I had trouble. I couldn't read the back of the camera for the settings. I couldn't make the settings. Then you're there, you know, you're crunching down, trying to peek this thing. And so I don't have any outside shots for this, but I had my special models for the thing inside, so it worked out. That's a very quick and easy overview of special effects. The only way you're going to really learn them is to look through the guidebook or look through the manual and really sit down and try the things. The great thing with digital is it doesn't cost you anything to try them. And you can get something good, worthwhile, all the better. If you don't, you've only wasted a little bit of time and learned something at the time. That was all I had about the in-camera thing. I'd be willing to answer any questions with my limited knowledge, but I'm going to go back to the main screen now. Let's see each other. Anyway, you had something to say, Flo?
Well, no, I have a question. Are you shooting a Canon?
No,
I was just gonna ask,
Okay,
Sony.
But I guess it's a general question. In other words, in your camera, there is no setting that says creative filters. Is it just in each menu? There's a different thing in each menu?
You have a Canon and you don't have a place for creative filters?
I've never noticed it. I have this, you know, the night shots, the portrait, you know, on your wheel, but I never noticed where.
It's probably in the menu system.
And it's from what I thought you said, that each filter or each new filter was under a different menu. Is that I
No,
misunderstood?
not necessarily. Someplace in your menu system, there is something that says creative filters.
Okay, I'll look. I never noticed, but then I
Yeah.
never looked. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Flo, I have a mid-range camera,
You have a what?
mid-level camera. And I do have quite a number of special effects
Well,
on.
I may as well, but I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure where to look for them. So that's what I was asking.
But
Yeah.
are some of these things, things that you apply after you take the shot?
No, No,
I'm
you
not
have to
that familiar with them, but I know I came across some things, and I got the Nikon, but I came across some things because you mentioned that you have to do some of these things only if it's JPEG. You can't do it if it's RAW.
or
right.
And if
I
you
don't know
take
if
a
that's-
shot that you've taken and they have an editing section in the menu that you can apply certain
No,
things
no.
to that
You have to,
JPEG shot. And it
you have to
creates a
set it
new
up.
image. No?
You have to set it up ahead of time and then take the
Ahead?
shot.
Right.
Does anybody have a camera that has a double
oh,
exposure?
okay.
Yeah.
You have double exposure on yours?
Yeah.
And
No.
have you used it
There's switches,
successfully?
sir.
I've played with it in the past.
It's difficult to get something other than by serendipity. You really have to plan what's going to be in which section of the picture so
Right.
that they harmonize.
Right,
Yeah.
I played with it, I know at one point years ago, when we were first starting out, I did some shots with, just around the table where I took a picture sitting on one side of the table and took a picture, same picture sitting on the other side, so there's
Mhm.
a nightmare, there
That's
was two of
interesting.
these.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's very good.
Yeah.
Clever.
And the other one that you can play with, is a time-lapse photography too.
Yeah,
I think that's another one.
Oh, yeah.
You
that
can
has to be-
combine, I think, two. I think you can combine time lapse with multiple exposure. So for instance, if you were taking the moon going across the sky, I believe you can take the shot, then take the shot again, take the shot again. The
Time-lapse.
difficulty is in getting the exposure right. But I know I've done stuff like HDR, and they've got something on Nikon, I think it's called D-lighting, which I think kind of brings out the detail in dark areas. And you can have like D-lighting on or off. I think that's what something Claude's talking about. You
Yeah.
have to set it up ahead of time.
But
It's got a downside to it. Yeah. Yeah.
Mario.
Harvey might know about it.
Yeah,
Who's that?
HDR is different. I don't know if people consider that a special effect. It's
Yeah,
basically, to cover all your bright areas and dark areas and midtones
right,
to get you
right.
a complete photo.
Mhm.
That everything is well exposed. That's what HDR is for.
Yeah, right.
It's a
I know that,
special
I just
thing.
brought it up. Those are things that you have to do, you have to set up ahead of time. You have to tell the
Yeah.
camera you want to do
HDR?
it ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
And,
You have to,
yeah.
it's
And
not that hard
D-lighting,
at
D-lighting
all.
is the other one. It's similar. Yeah.
D-lighting is, it puts, it controls your brights to a certain extent
Mhm.
that you get some detail in your bright areas where if you didn't have D-lighting, it might burn out. That's what D-lighting is.
Right. Brings out detail, I think, in the dark and the light. Yeah,
In the
I
light-
I
the light
remember
areas.
playing with some of those things years ago, but let just bring
Yeah.
up something. And some of these tools are things you take the photo, and if it's JPEG, you can apply these tools to the photo afterwards. In your camera, it leaves the original and then creates the new version where you've applied whatever the effect
Yeah.
is, D-lighting or
Yeah, there's,
HDR.
certain,
And I
yeah.
just want to make one point. You discover soon, though, that these are the things you can do in Photoshop. So why bother
Yeah.
trying to do it in the camera when you can load it on your computer and then do it in Photoshop too? You know, that's it.
it could, yeah. Now, one of the problems with special effects, and that is, I don't know, are we having a competition for special effects, Claude, coming up?
No, it's
No.
show and tell. Like we did the scavenger hunt. It'd be March 25th. Mark will set it up on the King. And we're just gonna have a session there where we show them and, makers can comment, and other people could comment. So it's not a competition.
Okay. If you, in my research on the internet, because I really wanted a definition of what is special effects.
Mhm.
And a lot of your pros, they consider abstract is what we consider special effects. They go into the abstract. And one definition I got, which reoccurred, was when you see it, your final picture, when people see it, hopefully it's something that appeals to you, but it doesn't necessarily, you don't necessarily know what it is.
Yeah.
You have to look, you have to
Right.
really look. Some of
Yeah.
these special effect abstracts do have like a face, but it's hidden. And then as you're looking at the photo and it'll say, oh yeah, I see this. You'll see things in it that the photographer intended. But most of that is done in Photoshop
Yeah.
today.
FYI, I just went through all the settings on my camera. This is a Canon 7D, and it doesn't seem to have any special effects settings.
Well, on the Canon, it's called creative filters.
Yeah, I went through all the menus. It didn't have that.
See, the 7D is considered to be a professional level camera, whereas mine is a mid-range. And so it offers those special effects, yeah.
Now, I did look up on the internet various cameras, and I looked up the 70D.
That's
Yeah.
mine. That's my camera, the 70D.
Okay, so that has the Grady, soft focus, fisheye, all that
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
And I have a basic Rebel Canon, and it has creative settings.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, the beginner and the mid-range, which is what you and I have, those offer more of those things.
okay.
But the professionals, they don't, they just go for it.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
I have the Nikon D750, which is not the professional level, but it's more on the higher end. And it's a couple years old. So there's an 850 also. At any rate, I only have 7 special effects. And it's night vision is one of them, color sketch, miniature effect, selective color, silhouette, high key, and low key.
Yeah.
But my question is, because I haven't explored this or anything, do you have, can you change things in each of those settings, or is it just
Some of them
comes
you
up with the
can,
current?
particularly selective color, which I think most cameras would have that. You can select either the red, green, blue, yellow, those four to emphasize that particular color. I found on my camera that there's picture effects, it's called. It has toy camera, which has 5 different settings. Posturization has 2, partial color has 4. So, you get up to many, many iterations of these things. The only thing you can do is try them.
Mhm. I'm looking at my camera. Remember, Bobby, you talked about double exposure.
yes.
My camera allows you to do a double exposure after the fact. So you can take 2 pictures and not worry about exactly where they're going, I think. I had never tried it,
Yeah.
actually. But it lets you, I don't know if it lets you move each one, but it lets you put it together after the fact, after you've shot different things. So I guess what this is good for is, let's say you have a library of photos in here
Mhm.
and you might want to experiment. You can
Yeah.
play with this, and it might, who knows, you might do a special effect abstract, and it
Yeah.
looks terrific. Who knows? But basically, they're all functional effects
Mhm.
in this camera. Like it allows you to add filters, skylight filters, and let's say I can trim. Basically I can trim the photo in the camera. I think it doesn't destroy the original. It'll just make a copy. It'll allow you to do monochrome, of course. I think most cameras will allow you to do monochrome, black and white.
Yeah,
Right. Let's see. Filter effects, which I just mentioned.
Avi, which camera do you have?
I have the Canon 70D.
Avi,
This is a Nikon 850, D850.
Oh, I have. I forgot what I have.
You have that?
No,
Yeah, okay.
Bobby, you want to do your part?
Sure. Okay, I hope it goes, I hope I can get it up and running. I have to switch screens here, so just interesting though, that Harvey has his camera, I don't know how old it is, but it seems to be attempting to say, it's doing what Photoshop does, which is to say combining different pictures that you would do it on the screen. So
It doesn't have the versatility
no,
Photoshop.
it can't ever. That, in
Yeah.
my opinion, yeah, we're just heading straight for, and I'm seeing it now. I'm looking for a new phone, and I'm seeing what the phones have to offer now in the 3 or 4 years since I bought my last one. They're not even talking about any feature. You want to buy the new
I think
phone?
we have to stop this right now and put our foot down and none of this phone nonsense anymore.
Yes,
Right.
phone.
All in favor, yes.
Oh,
I
put my-
bet you all said that just before digital came out.
Yeah.
I said, none of this digital stuff for
Yeah.
me. I'm sticking
Right.
to
Right.
film.
no,
You know
but the
the
new
old
phones are
saying.
good. The new phones.
Yeah.
No sending it to
I
Costco
was
either. You have to
told that.
process it yourself.
Keith, you wanted to say something?
No, the new phones are really good. I know I take just to play around with things. I just take my shots and put it into my phone, and there's a myriad of apps, and what you can do with them is it's like fantastic. In the phone.
Sandy does, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Sandy Flickstein, she does a whole number on her phone, and some of it is quite outstanding. I feel.
Sandy, she knows how to dig and get the best out of any camera or her phone. She's just amazing. She once tried to teach me how to do something. I had to beg for mercy. She just knew so much about it. I said, enough. But she's really good. I'm surprised she's not here tonight.
Or Diana, are they away?
Bruce is having back issues. He's in a lot of pain, so.
Dear,
Yeah.
sorry.
Mm.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to share, change to my own share. Okay, here I am, I think. Put on my glasses, yeah. Okay. Okay, can everybody see this?
Yeah,
Yes,
Mhm. Yep.
Okay, very good. So, have recently converted to Photoshop CC, and it is just an amazing program. I'm going to show you one thing. You may like or dislike some of the things I'm going to show you tonight, but I'm going to show you one thing. My jaw dropped, and I think yours will do the same. It's not that good, but it's very amazing. Okay, so we're talking about special effects. Well, I could talk till midnight about the special effects that are here. You have to get acquainted with them. You have to, once you do, you learn, you get some idea, and I'm hoping to give you a broad overview of places to look, what's available, combining these things, and the rest, the sky is the limit. At the end, I'm going to show you a very brief little 3-minute video that shows you about the variety of filters, what you can do with them in Photoshop. But we're going to start tonight with, I'll show you where some of the filters are that I know of. And believe me, the amount of knowledge about Photoshop that I do not have vastly exceeds what I do know. But as far as I know right now, oh, here we are. I'm off to a bad start. Let's see.
Don't feel bad. I've had Photoshop CC maybe 3-4 years,
Oh, yeah.
and I might know 5% of it.
Well,
That's about it.
I would say that's true, Harvey. I would say the same. I would say I know between 5 and 10%, but I'm guessing we probably know a great deal. A lot of the stuff is very esoteric and specific to particular situations. But let's see where we go here. So one place where you can do some interesting thing is right here in image. If you click on image and then adjustments, you can go to, well, the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this invert. I'm going to invert this picture. This makes a special effect right in itself. So we have something like this. After this, I would say, well, that's interesting, but I would then go to the adjustments and I would go to, what would I go to? I go to maybe curves. And, oh, come on. Okay. I'd like to deepen some of these tones. So I'll go down here. This is the histogram back there. I'm going to just lock it in here in the center, and I'm going to just pull down here a bit. And you can see what happens.
Oh,
As you pull it down, you can manipulate it a great deal. I'm not going to go crazy on this because I have a lot to show you, but that makes, I think that makes an interesting picture. I like the way the palm trees are white against the golden sky and so on. And by the way, another thing you could do, how do we get out of that? All right. You could just convert this to black and white. I must tell you that the raw dialog box is incredible. You don't ever have to come into Photoshop. It is so comprehensive and so amazing, and I can't claim to understand all of it, but I use it quite a bit. So you could convert this to black and white and invert it, and you'd have an interesting picture as well. Okay, let's see, let's move on. And let's try again, image, adjustments, and this time we'll go to posterize. Now, some of you may think this is preposterous or preposterous. Let's see. Posterization is very interesting. It starts, I'm going to start with a number 1. Well, that's pretty preposterous. But the point is, okay, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, this is certainly a special effect. I think we would agree with that. If you go to the far end, let's say 255, well, I'll just drag the slider. It just comes back to normal. Your interesting levels here would start at 1. I don't even know what 1 looks like. Pretty much the same. I'm going to take it to 5. If you're not so interested in having a really outrageous, you can start with more subtle changes.
Yeah, see, now I learned something tonight. I always thought that was posterize, and both Claude and Bobby have
Yeah, I
corrected me.
I
that
think
it's
it is
posterize.
posterized.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I always said posterize. What do I know?
I
was
think
only-
the idea is you're creating the same type of effect as a poster.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, that could be. You might be right. I never questioned it for a minute. I just always thought of it as posterization. So you certainly could be right. Here's
If we,
here's
if we
12.
both said that, it's got to be right what we said.
Okay, whatever you say.
That's why I said I learned something tonight.
Yeah.
Well,
there it is.
you learned that one of us is right. I don't know which one, but anyway. So this is an interesting one. I mean, if you like the really bright one at the beginning, who could say I blame you? Now, by the way, you could have some fun with this. You could also use the invert on whatever effect you have here. I'm not going to do it. We could be here, I said, till midnight. But what would happen if we inverted
Forever.
this? But we don't know. Anyway, I am just going to be working on this same old picture as I show you different things, and we'll see where that takes us. Okay,
Bobby, a question?
yes.
The invert you mentioned, how did you get to it? And do you know if it's available on something like Elements?
Thank you for asking that question. Because here's the thing, I'm working on CC. Well, not everybody wants CC.
I
If you
know.
have Elements, most of the things that I'm showing you are available on Elements. And I remember I've been working on the last iteration I had before I came to CC was CS5. That's way, way back. And most of these things were there. They probably didn't work as well as they do now because they fine-tune these things. But my guess is almost everything that I'm showing you tonight will be available to you in an older version and in Elements. The one thing that won't be there is the one that I think is going to surprise you a great deal that I spoke about early before.
How did you get to inverse?
Okay, so posterization and inverse, both of them come, let me, why is that not? Oh, let's go here. Image, adjustments, invert, posterize or posterize. These others I'm not so sure of. I didn't really bother with them. So well, the gradient map, but so here it is, it's adjustments and it's image adjustments, and then these things come up. Okay, now what was I going to do here? I think I pretty well covered that a little while ago. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, this one is quite surprising. I meant to sneak up on that. Let me show you how this
That's
comes.
your shot.
That is so funny.
That is good.
I was afraid you were going to scream at me and say, "Oh, nobody would show that. That's horrible."
That's
right.
cool.
All right. So I am at,
Filters.
Pointilize.
yes. Well, I'm a little puzzled. Okay. Filter. First of all, here is where, as far as I know, the other filters are. There may be some others I'm not aware of. As Harvey said, we really scratched the surface with this. But this filter gallery, which I'm going to show you later on. Right now, I want to get back to this other one. There must be 50 different available, I mean, even more. But let's not jump ahead of ourselves for now. Let me go back. Uh-oh.
Hit the escape key on your keypad.
No, that's not doing it.
No?
Cancel.
Oh, gosh. All right, that should do it. Why is it not? Okay, cancel. Yeah, thank you. Hello. All righty. So right now I want to show you that pinch, and that is filter.
Filter.
What happened is I got a little carried away by showing you the filter gallery, which we'll talk about afterwards. Right now, we're going to distort. Look at all of these: blur, distort, noise, pixelate, render, sharpen, stylize. As I said, I could have gone over each and every one, but I'm just picking out a few. So in distort, let's go to pinch. Oops. So as you can see, it shows you a grid, I suppose you would call it, to show you what the possibilities are. You could dial in any number. And by the way, you could also go the other way into negative numbers. I'm just going to stick with the positives. And the negatives would be the same, except they would go in a different direction. So, okay, let's see what 50 looks like. All right, you could see what happens here. We start to get this curve. Back to pinch. Let's take it up to.
I would leave that alone. Don't answer it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ooh.
there it was at 75.
Whoa.
Uh,
Strange.
let's see what it looks like at 100.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
mm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one we saw before.
Yeah, and you could, I just
That's
did
why.
three numbers. You could do any numbers you like. You could also do -50, -75, -100, and see, you could play endlessly. All right, let's move on to twirl. Okay, this one is already done for us.
How do you get there?
Filter,
Distort.
right, but I want to go to, all right, here's twirl, right.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, distort, twirl. So this is at
Oh my
50.
God.
Let's take it quite a ways in. Let's take it to 100, let's say. 110, let's see what that looks like. Oh,
Mm.
well, since we're there,
Looks like a Gaudi building.
Oh, yes, exactly.
well, this is going to get
Actually,
even better. Let me
It
show you.
looks like something from, what's the name of the old Disney movie?
Oh, that's true. I agree with you. It is
What is
very Disney-esque. Well, that's why they no longer. draw those,
Fantastic. I
right?
forgot what it's called.
Hmm.
Fantasia.
Yeah.
Oh, Fantasia, that's right. Where am I?
That's so funny.
Distort, and I am looking at
Twirl. You were in
Oh.
twirl.
twirl. Thank you. All right, let's take it.
Oh, that was twirl.
It's 280.
You know what, if you go to liquefy, you
That's
could
too
do
much.
it on each little piece.
Well, you could do that here too, Flo. Let me go back here.
Oh my God.
Filter, distort, twirl, and let's take it back from 281 because I got one that I thought was really very interesting. Let's try 200. No, you know what it's doing now? It is doing it. Oh, what a shame. I wanted to show you. That was so striking. Filter, distort, twirl, and let's take it to 0 again because it's cumulative. See how it goes into the negative and it's
Oh, yeah.
in the other direction.
Yeah.
But let's take it to 0. Okay. Oh, whoa.
Oh, it didn't
I
go.
made a mistake here. I did not.
You need to start with the original image.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know you. This is a lesson, folks. Never work on your original layer. I'm going to have a word with you about layers later. Some of you wonder why on earth you bother with layers, but I'll show you
Just
one
hit revert.
instance where you'll see how important it is. And here, inadvertently, is a second one. Let me go back here to this. Notice here, you see, oh, I did it there too. Oh,
If
There
you
you
hit
go.
revert, it'll bring it back to the original.
and where is revert in file?
I think it's under edit.
All right, let's go back to pinch, no, twirl, under edit.
there it is. Edit.
Bobby, is there a history panel?
Well, maybe it's
It
image.
certainly is. Why didn't
If
I?
you take history, just
Yes.
back up on
There you
history.
go. That's
There
it.
you go.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
There it is.
You know, when I'm playing by myself, I never have these issues, truly. But I'm trying to keep an eye on all these bouncing balls. So thank you very much, Mario. Okay, so I wanted to show you what would happen if we did filter, distort, twirl, and did we do 100?
Yes.
Let's try
Yeah.
150.
Whoa.
I thought this made it very striking. No, Darn it, darn,
Mhm.
really. All right, let's add another now, and I did it again, by the way.
Hit Command
Notice,
Z.
I did it again.
Try Command
All right.
Z.
Okay, now I'm gonna work on the background layer. I'll just try once more. If this doesn't work, it doesn't, but it was so nice. I thought you would really like seeing how attractive it looked. Twirl. Let's go with 50. And now let's add another 50. Distort, twirl. 150. All right, let's just go with another 50. Well, let's go with it one more time. That's it. Because it was so interesting. Sport, twirl. We have 50. Okay. All right, that's close enough. I could probably take it one more. I thought that was really very striking. Filter, distort, twirl, and another 50. Okay. Yes, I thought that was really striking. I mean, if I sit back in my chair, I like the movement of it. I like the colors. You could crop off, say, this bottom if you wanted to. I thought that was really very nice.
I'll give it a 9.
All right. Thanks, Harvey.
Welcome.
Okay. Oh dear. Now here is where I did it again. Okay. On this next one, well, I have another one. I think I'm going to skip it. This is called Sphere Eyes, and what it did was to make this area much larger. It bowed this down, but that wasn't as interesting as some others. Okay, let's go to, as you could see, there are so many of these in the distort. But I'm going to move on to stylize right now. Oh, I just got to show you this. I didn't plan to show it, but this is one that I love. It's called extrude.
It's called what?
Extrude, as in it rhymes with rude. Extrude.
And it's on the
Extrude.
Yeah.
filter?
Yep, here it comes. This is stylize.
I gotta go up one.
Oh, there.
Here it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and let's give it, now notice, I could have it come out in blocks, in pyramids. I thought, frankly, in an older version here, they allowed you to have both blocks and pyramids. For some reason, they seem to have taken that away. So for now, let's go with the size of 50. Watch what this does. On some pictures, this is absolutely gobsmacking. Not this one, but
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
Love that.
Fabulous.
well, I'm glad you're gobsmacked. I have several others where it was much, this is a head-on photo. If the photo is more on an angle, they come out in all directions. It's quite amazing.
Yeah.
And you could make these come at random. I'm going to recommend some videos for you at the end, and I hope you'll want to watch them. I'm only going to show you a 3-minute video, but some of the others might, just for fun, the fun of seeing the possibilities. Notice, by the way, as we get to the edges here, see what happens now? It looks a little bit like an airplane view of Manhattan, doesn't it? All different
Yeah,
skyscrapers here, but as it gets to the center, not so much.
Right.
All right, so that is extrude, but the other one that I wanted to show you was something called Stylize. Let's move on to that. Now I'm very disappointed. I'm going to show you how to make an oil painting out of this picture. But I also, when I was diddling around myself, I was able to do a pointillization. It was terrific. Unfortunately,
Pointillization.
yes, just like pointillism, the painting pointillism.
Oh my God.
Yes. Oh, what is it? Sur le Range, whatever. It's a French
Yeah,
painting. Yeah, very famous and popular painting. So I'm not even going to show it to you. But when I did it in the first place, I was even going to make a little joke about the judge saying you shouldn't take pictures of other people's artwork because it was so real. It looked like a real
Oh,
painting. But I don't know. I must have done an intermediate step, which I
Oh.
forgot about. All right. Anyhow, let's try this one. We'll go to filter, stylize, and oil paint. Now I've taken the liberty of moving these
Great.
filters, these sliders around, and this makes a pretty nice setup. So I'm going to go with these settings and let's see what it comes out to look like. By the way, just a small difference. The shine, we can move that down. You see the difference there. You can
got it.
your scale of the size of these things, the brush strokes. But on a big picture like this, the larger one seems to show up a lot better. So
Yeah,
we'll
more,
look at
yeah.
that. 9.3, I think I had. All right, let's give it a go. Let's see.
It's thinking,
Yes.
Some of these things take time to compute.
thinking.
Unless you got a lot of memory.
Yeah,
And there you go.
Oh, wow.
It's like
Nice.
that portrait that Picasso did.
Yes.
Just a guy there, and I've tried to do that. I've seen it done, on other pictures.
I would have
Go ahead.
liked to see larger. I don't know if I hit it twice, maybe then it would make, I don't know, but I would have liked to see larger brushstrokes. I thought this was more, did you say Van Gogh?
No, Picasso did one of a portrait,
Oh,
and it was this perfect thing. And somebody had told me you can do it on PS, but I tried it. It never came out.
the key.
But now I see how you did it, and then this is
Wow.
that's the way of doing it.
Yeah, but you don't know that Picasso used Photoshop to do it.
Don't say it.
a well-kept secret. To me, it looks more like Van Gogh, and maybe this is why he
Yes,
cut off his
definitely.
ear.
Yeah, well, Van Gogh did the same thing, right?
Yes.
He had an early version of Photoshop.
Seurat was the one who painted everything in these tiny little dots.
Oh, that's
yeah,
pointillism.
pointillism.
That's the pointillism. I
Yes,
am
Yeah.
so
exactly.
upset that I can't show you the pointillism one. It was beautiful. I'll tell you what, I'm going to play with it. If I get, I don't know, whatever I did, I'll get it back. I'll send it to you. You'll see. It really looks very.
Okay, but you have to send it with instructions.
Instructions. It's very easy.
Yeah, you're right.
This is.
You're
But
right. You
I'm
gotta send
wondering-
it.
Look. Filter.
Oil
step
paint.
No,
one.
I understand. It is very easy, but I'm wondering if in Elements, if they don't always have the appropriate sliders as in Photoshop. So as soon
Oh.
as we're done, I'm gonna go check.
One of the
Because
things
I've used
about,
those filters before, but not all. I only used a couple. And
I
one of them
understand,
was that full shot where I liquefied everything. And that came out really
What time
good.
is it?
it's 8:30.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
8:30.
it's true. We all have different, if we have Photoshop, we have different versions of it.
Right.
Can't use what you don't have. But each program is so
Wow.
there is so much there for you. And remember, you can combine any of these techniques. You could combine filter on top of filter on top of filter.
Yeah,
Right.
that's when it worked.
Wow.
All right, so now the next thing I'm going to do is go to the, what's this, render? Filter. Oh, all right. Well, all right, that brings us to this particular picture. This is where, if you're wearing socks, they may not fall off, but they may slide down your leg a little. I was very surprised to see, this is new, and I only just saw it when I was making up this presentation. So we go from filter, we're going to go into, okay, I'm on the wrong layer. Okay, filter gallery. Now, this is the filter gallery. These are the kinds of things. Look at all of these are chock full. Why this is black, I don't know. But anyway, let's get to a picture again. So black. All right, help me out, guys. What do I have to do here again to get out of this?
Cancel.
There is no.
Yeah, up here.
Oh, there.
Yeah, but it's
The
only
upper right.
grayed out. It's
That's what
grayed
we
out.
did last time. Yeah, I don't know.
Come on. Escape.
What does
No.
it say? Edges? I can't read what it says.
Oh, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Oh, there it is. Look, you can
Oh,
cancel
okay,
that.
good. All right. Thank you. All right. So filter. Filter gallery. I hope this isn't going to do the same thing. It is. You know, I'm a little puzzled. I have the picture open and I don't know why. All right, there we go. Okay. All right, so, you know, just randomly, I'm just going to click on this picture, which we're now pretty familiar with. I'll just click on different things. Colored pencil. Notice it takes some time. Not all of these are wow, not at all, but you can control it with the width of the pencil, stroke pressure, the paper brightness, and so on. This is a very nice one. Now, okay, notice here, colored pencil. There are two of them that could be open here. Here I've combined colored pencil and poster edges, and it's working as we're speaking. Okay, if you don't like that,
Oh,
you can
poster
drag them
edges.
down here to the trash can, or you can just close the eyes. Oh, yeah, that, no, the poster edges. That is one that I have used successfully. I think that's a very nice look. It's subtle. I'll close the eye again so you could see. That's before. And now it's on again. It's subtle. And of course, you can play with these controls to make it more vigorous or less. This colored pencil, I've never gotten any use out of whatever. So I'll just drag it to the trash can where it didn't go. Let's see. Oh. This is like your child who misbehaves in front of company. All right. This, I have found this to be a very, very nice filter, dry brush, and also the watercolor. It has to be the right filter for the right picture. That's true, the truth of it. Let's go to the watercolor. The 3-minute film that I'm going to show you, okay,
Oh.
there you get some idea. Now, that's a little too intense, but I would pull back on this. Well, they only give you 1, 2, and 3. That's too dark, and that's a little less dramatic. But
Yeah.
anyhow, here are some others. You have brush strokes. I've used ink outlines with success. Distort. Okay, here you have a glass, for example. Let's put a glass filter over this and see what happens. So let me drag the dry brush down and into the trash can. And let's add the glass. Is it happening?
No,
Jet,
I don't think so.
Usually you would see it.
Did you
I
click
see
on it?
here. I have to click this on. See, that's different than it was. All right, well, what that does
Whoa.
is it
Whoa.
blurs it a
Whoa.
great deal.
Whoa,
that's not,
yeah,
I
I like
think
that.
you've got something else on it.
I do. This is the glass. If I,
No, but the glass usually has, it looks like it's all chopped up with glass.
this is like the old frosted glass that you used to have in some bathroom doors
Oh,
in
maybe.
the city or what have you. And you can change the scaling of, oh, this is says canvas too. Oh, here, frosted glass. Let's see. All right, I don't want to waste the, I have a little bit more to show you. So let's move on with that. Let's go on to the next thing. Let's cancel out of this. There is also a series of sketch filters, stylizing. Oh yes, I wanted to show you. Let us get rid of this and this. Let's go with this stylize. This is quite interesting. Glowing edges. Oh, I always forget I have to turn it on here.
Oh,
Wow, that's really exciting.
Ready to disappear.
Oh, wait.
Okay,
This is really strange. It was.
oh, wait, it's coming.
I know, I know.
Blackout.
I'm moving the sliders up here.
oh. You pull it on. Oh, what is that called? Glowing edges?
Yes, neon. It's like a neon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
it's also in.
that is quite interesting. I think that's a lovely effect.
Bobby, that's how I did that truck. The picture I took,
Yes.
that's how I did it.
Oh, did you? I remember that
Really?
was when you were at that auto museum?
Yeah, and
That's cool,
it was a truck, and I did it like that. I'll never be able to do it again, though.
Yes, you
I
will.
tried. It was.
Here it is. Here
I
it is.
forgot. I saw you just do it. And I said,
That was at least 5 years ago, at least. Wouldn't you say, Keith?
somewhere around there.
We remember each other's pictures. We do. So the good
But
ones that
another way,
stand out, we remember. Okay, I'm going to cancel that. And now what I want to show you is this. I have to go to filter. Oh, don't do this to me. This is it. This is the pièce de résistance. So filter, render. Okay, here we are.
Whoa.
Now, this says you can do a flame, a picture frame, or a tree. Well, I didn't have good success with the flame. I wouldn't recommend that. It wasn't, maybe I just didn't work it enough. The picture frame that was a little more interesting. Some of the video, one of the videos I'm going to show you has all of this that it could do in a different video by the same presenter. But this is the one that this is a preset allowing you to make trees. What kind of trees, you may ask?
God.
Well, any one of these. An
Oh
oak, a
my
redwood, a
God.
ginkgo, a maple, a spruce, an
Cherry
aspen,
blossom.
a sakura cherry blossom, an acer, I'm not even going to attempt that one,
Never heard of
an
that.
elm tree. So for obvious reasons, I decided to make a palm tree. So let's get to palm tree. That's number 22. I already have it made. So, but before I show you that, I do want to do this. I'm going to say, okay. Notice where I am. I'm on my background copy. Now you're going to understand, if you don't already, and forgive me if you do, I don't mean to be talking down to you, but I've had people say, I don't see the reason for using layers. I'm not going to mention any names here, but you know who you are. So I'm going to say, okay, I like this tree. I really fashioned it. I'll show you in a minute. I fashioned it so that it would resemble these and be in the same family. I'll say, okay. Now there's the tree. Wow, that really looks damn good. So I'm going to move it out of the way. Oh, it's not
Oh,
moving.
oh,
That's the layer that's moving. That's all. The tree is not moving. Why is that? Because it is not on its own layer. Let's
oh.
back up. It puts it right in the center. Let's back up here. And here is the tree. You can see it is on a layer of its own. So this tree came in just like the other one did, straight like this, and right in the middle. But because it's on a layer, I can move that baby wherever I want it. Over here, over here. I'll put it here for now. But I don't like the fact that it's growing straight up. So I'm going to use a transform, and I'm going to tilt it a bit, which sort of is in keeping with
Uh-huh.
the way the
The other
others are
two.
growing. Or not they're growing, but it's our perspective. Okay. Now, while I'm here in free transform, I can do other things. Suppose I wanted to curve it a bit. Wait, did I not click on wood? Oh, okay. See what you
Oh,
can do?
oh.
The rubber tree.
Yes. They didn't call it so, but so we'll just give it a little bit of a curve there. Okay. Now, I would like to give it some more life the way you see here, but I have to admit that I was not able to do it. I tried with special brushes to make these frond-like strokes. I really couldn't get anything that looked very good. I tried copying, pasting. It wasn't good, is all I could say. But I know if I just sit here a little longer, you know, and really work at it, I'll figure out how to do it. And by the way, the tutorials here on Photoshop are excellent. They really help you. And if
Oh, yeah.
that's not to your liking, they can be a little bit stiff. Where we're going to go now is to the little video I was talking about. And by the way, would you like to see how we could make this tree? Because it didn't look this way. I didn't just click on palm tree and that's the way it came in.
Uh-huh.
Would you like to see, or should I just?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go to, where are we going to? Filter, render tree. All right, so I'm going to drag all these sliders back. Back to basics.
No, doesn't want to move.
Oh dear. Oh, reset. Hello. Okay. No, I don't want to reset that. Oh, come on now.
Oh,
Oy.
We can add more.
My head looked like 50 years ago.
It's a mop. It's a mop. It's a mop tree. Oh,
Branches, some of these are not moving. I'm not sure why. Branches height. Okay, but again, you have to realize that now they've stepped back. This is not a smaller tree. Notice how if we wanted to put this in the picture, it would be full size, just like that palm.
right.
The number of leaves. You can create a designer tree. It's just
Wow.
amazing. Here you go to advanced, you can change the color of the green. Let's make a red tree. A nice fuchsia, whatever that is. Okay. You could see for yourself. Use custom color for branches. You could add a second
Oh
custom
my
color.
God.
And there's shading. Also, where do you want the light to come from? Light direction. I had the light direction coming from the right because that's where it was coming in this picture. Anyhow, I think that's a pretty amazing, I'm sorry, Mr. Willow here. How do I get that? I guess I would just go to, I can't, yeah, I'll just leave it for now. But I think that's a pretty amazing thing. And yeah, I hope you think so too.
Yeah.
So that's about all that I have for now. I did also make a little sheet here showing you. Okay, so go to YouTube for special effects videos. There are hundreds of them. Here are 3 that I thought were very good. How to use filters in Photoshop CC. Every filter in Photoshop.
seeing what all those
It
formulas
is.
that
What
we
can be
never
done.
looked at.
And you're going to amaze yourself. You know, sometimes Elements is a jump ahead. They try things out in Elements, and if they're works well, they bring it into the regular
boy,
program.
right.
The big boy, that's what I call it.
You know, if you have patience like you can do an awful lot of things. If you choose to do it, I mean, some people would never think of adding a tree to a shot, but
Well, I never saw that before. This is the first time I've had Photoshop now for almost a year. This version of it. And that's the first time I ever saw that particular thing. So I couldn't wait to try it out. It was pretty amazing.
it was. So you
Mhm.
added those other 2 palm trees?
Oh, no. Those were grown.
Oh,
Those
they
are-
were there. Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
But the one that
I feel
made-
better now.
I modeled that one because the way it came out originally, the basic version didn't look much like that, but you can make it grow,
Yeah.
you can add
Terrible.
leaves and so on. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole session was really interesting.
Yeah,
I
it was
can't wait
good.
to
Yeah.
see what everybody does next month.
That's right. Or we're all on the hook now.
Oh, Dan, were you here the whole time?
Yep.
Oh, how do? Okay, guys, are we done? I thank Claude. I thank Bobby. I
Thank
thought
you,
it was
guys.
really great. I'm looking forward to see the what happened with everybody.
results.
Same
Thank you.
here.
Okay.
Bye. Have a nice evening.
Okay.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Take care.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.